Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys I'm going to be profiling for you an update of my Egyptian God deck. As we are heading into the new year, I thought this would be a great time to update this deck. And for those of you that are new to my channel or don't know what an Egyptian God deck is, it mainly focuses on summoning the three Egyptian gods. You summon Obelisk the Tormentor, Slifer the Sky Dragon, or the Winged Dragon of Ra. You try to summon 1 to 2 per duel. And this deck is not a competitive deck, it's a fun, casual deck that you're just supposed to take to locals, have fun with your buddies, and just summon Egyptian gods and trying to beat their ass down and just wins a couple of duels for fun. That's the focus of this deck. It's just a fun, casual deck that's not supposed to face the meta, just so you guys know. But this build of the Egyptian God deck focuses on a little bit more key things. I was trying to make it more better than the last version I did a couple months ago. I mainly wanted to focus on consistency and having good tribute fodder and meat shields on the field for defensive plays. So that's where I mainly focused on in this version of the deck. It's changed quite a lot compared to the last version, I feel like. So first up, you got your 1 Obelisk the Tormentor, your 1 Slifer the Sky Dragon, the 1 Winged Dragon, and your 2 Winged Dragon of Ra. Obelisk the Tormentor is by far probably the best Egyptian god. Winged Dragon of Ra is a close second. Slifer is probably the 3rd best Egyptian god. That's the way I feel like it is. But those are just my opinions. The reason we run 2 Winged Dragon of Ra is because pretty much Winged Dragon of Ra already has a quote-unquote archetype built around him right now. You have Ra Sphere mode and Phoenix mode, so he has a little bit more support than Obelisk and Slifer does. So that's the reason I run 2 of him, and the fact that he could just OTK out of the wazoo at random times because of his effect is the reason we run 2 of him. Now, like I've always said, this is the real Ra, and this is the fake one. Just like when Odeon had the fake Egyptian Ra card in his deck, and he got struck by lightning when he was battling Joey. If you summon this Winged Dragon of Ra, you're gonna get struck by lightning. So be careful. You know, don't not upset the Egyptian gods. But yeah. Pretty much these are all your good cards. If you want to make this deck more specific to a specific god, I would say if you're trying to make it Obelisk the Tormentor deck, maybe run 3 Obelisk and maybe 1 Ra, and then maybe take out some of these other cards in the deck. If you want to make it a Winged Dragon of Ra deck, it's fairly simple. You just put 3 Winged Dragon of Ra in and keep 1 Obelisk the Tormentor in, and you're pretty much golden. If you want to make Slifer, that's a little bit different, and you have to build the deck a little bit more differently. But that's just what I found from playtesting in the past. Next on to your other cards you run. 2 Sphere mode and 1 Phoenix mode. Sphere mode, the fact that Sphere mode is searchable off true name is amazing, because nowadays I face, just for fun, a couple of, you know, totally awesome hero decks, and they'll be like Bahamut, Shark, Dark Law, and Tree Toad, and I'm like, I searched this for my hand last turn, drop that, there goes your field, now I get a Winged Dragon of Ra next turn. So Sphere mode is very good, and the fact that you can actually tribute off your own monsters for Sphere mode is very good as well. So say you have some random Scapegoat tokens on the field. If you have some random Scapegoat tokens because you flipped up Scapegoat, you could tribute off 3 of those Scapegoat tokens to summon Sphere mode to your side of the field, tribute Sphere mode off, and get a 4,000 Winged Dragon of Ra out on the field, just like that. So it's very nice because you can either get around problematic cards your opponent has, or just tribute it off for the Winged Dragon of Ra like that. So that's one of the other reasons I run just 2 Winged Dragon of Ra over, you know, the other gods. Ra's Phoenix mode is just good because you can kind of loop with Sphere mode and the Winged Dragon of Ra, so that's why I run Phoenix mode. It's very easy to get in the graveyard. You have discarding outlets like Twin Twister, the Monarch card I run, and Foolish Burial, so you have consistent ways of getting this card in the graveyard, which is really nice. So yeah, those are the ratios we run of those guys. We also run 3 Ra's Disciple. This card is mainly there for tribute fodder. That's the main reason you run this card, not for any other reason. Pretty much what you do with Ra's Disciple is you go normal summon Ra's Disciple, and then you can special summon from your hand or deck 2 other Ra's Disciples in attack or defense position. It's up to you. Usually I go for defense in case something happens, but whatever. And then you already have your 3 tribute fodder out in the field. Now you already committed your normal summon, so I'm going to talk about very quickly here, because this is literally the heart and soul of the deck, is card advance. Now, I'll talk more about card advance later on in this video, but the one thing you need to know about card advance, guys, is Card Advance is important to this deck. It's literally the heart and soul of the deck. And you can activate Card Advance after you maybe summoned, your 3 Raw's Disciple, and you already commit your normal summon. You can be like, activate Card Advance. I get to also, on top of having my normal summon, I also get to have a tribute summon on that turn and look at the top 5 cards in my deck and arrange them in any order I wish. So that's very useful, especially with True Name, but we'll talk about that combo later. So you could go Raw's Disciple, activate Card Advance, tribute off my 3 Raw's Disciple for Obelisk the Tormentor, Slifer, Winged Dragon of Ra, whatever, and there you go. So that's all you need for that. So 3 Raw's Disciple, definitely staple in the deck. I wish they would make some more cards kind of like this. It would make the Tribute Fodder engine a lot better for the deck, I feel. Next, I run 3 Marsh Macaroon. I love this guy. He looks like Digimon Poo. I love him. He's like one of my favorite cards out of the movie pack. So, what the fudge does Marsh Macaroon even do, you're probably asking yourself. Well, Marsh Macaroon is used for 2 reasons. Tribute Fodder and defensive stall tactics, I guess you could say. The nice thing about Marsh Macaroon is if he's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon up to 2 Marsh Macaroons from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So if you set one out there, it gets destroyed by battle, a Regeki, a Dark Hole, whatever, you can be special summoning 2 of your other Marsh Macaroons from your deck, your hand, or your graveyard. So you have defensive capabilities in Marsh Macaroon, and you could use them for tribute fodder because say you have a random token on the field, I've had before, or you have the Monarch trap card I run, that's tribute fodder. You have different ways to just tribute off Marsh Macaroons you'll find for just tribute summoning, or just in generically having maybe, I mean there's been a whole bunch of different ways I've done it. So I've had it before where I'm like, okay, I have 2 Marsh Macaroons on the field because they destroyed one. I now summon the Raw's Disciple 3 times, activate Card Advance, tribute off maybe the 1 Marsh Macaroon and then 2 Raw's Disciple, and I still have a Raw's Disciple in attack position that I can attack directly after Obelisk attacks. Just, it's good for tribute fodder, guys, and it's also good for defensive stall-tasticness, which I call it. So, very, very good card that looks like Digimon Poo, but he puts in work. I mean it. I know people probably were, confused when I last did this deck profile, but I still love him in the deck, and I would definitely run him in the deck because he has helped out so much. A new card to the deck that I love in the deck is 2 Scapegoat. Now, Scapegoat just recently came out earlier this year, and it is a very good card in this deck. Pretty much all you need to know is you set this card face down, you flip it up, or if it gets destroyed by battle, you get to summon up to as many Scapegoat tokens as you can on your field. So usually you summon 4 Scapegoat tokens on the field. If your opponent has a second monster and attacks another Scapegoat, that's okay. You still have 3 Scapegoat tokens on the field, and the Scapegoat tokens can be used for tribute fodder. So you can have 3 tokens out in the field, and then you could be like, okay, tribute 3 of those tokens off for an Egyptian god. Works out pretty well. Also, there's some cool little other plays I'm going to talk about very quickly about Scapegoat. So, say they didn't attack your Scapegoat. Say you set it, they didn't attack you. You could flip it over, alright? You'll get your 4 tokens, and you'll still have this on the field, which is a level 1 tuner. If you use one of the tokens and this level 1 tuner Scapegoat monster, you can go into Formula Synchron. It's a monster, you don't use it for anything else but its effect, which is to draw a card. So you'd be like, okay, I use this in a token, I synchro up, Formula Synchron, I draw 1 card deeper into my deck, and I have a monster on the field, and I can still do my tribute summon as well, which is nice. But that's a little cute little play you can do, which I love. Now you may say, why don't you run 3 Scapegoat? Personally, from playtesting, 3 Scapegoat was a little bit too cloggy for my liking. So 2 is all I really wanted. Because it's a little bit slow because it's a flip effect. So, from personal experience, that's what I found out. Next, I run 2 Aroma Jar. Now, you're probably wondering, what the heck is Aroma Jar? This is pretty much a defensive card and an offensive card at the same time. Aroma Jar states that when this card is flipped face up, you doing each of yours and your opponent's standby phase, you gain 500 life points. Okay? Pretty much, it's just for stalling. But that 500 life points comes in handy for something else. So you may say, well, what the heck does that 500 life points even mean? It means that if I used Ra's, effect, I literally can gain more attack. So say I used Aroma Jar and it stalled me out for 2 turns. I'm at 9,000 attack, okay? And say later on I tribute off something for Winged Dragon of Ra's effect. I can use Winged Dragon of Ra's effect to go down to 100 life points. Now remember, I'm at 9,000 life points, right? So now Winged Dragon of Ra has an attack of 8,900. That 1,000 life points means 1,000 more attack for your Winged Dragon of Ra. It's attack and a defensive card, and it can help you gain life points back if you failed to use Winged Dragon of Ra's effect efficiently. So, 2 Aroma Jar. Next, I run Trick Clown. Now, I may take Trick Clown out for Plague Spreader Zombie. Kind of flipping back and forth, but I prefer Trick Clown at the moment. I'm still need to play test it some more, but it's either going to be Plague Spreader or Trick Clown. Trick Clown's been working out the best actually right now, so I'm going with Trick Clown. Pretty much you send him to the graveyard through a whole bunch of different means. You bring him back as tribute fodder and tribute off maybe 2 other cards. So say you send him to the graveyard, you have 2 Mashed Macaroons on the field, Marshmallow Macaroons. You have your 3 monsters on the field, you tribute them off. There you go, there's your Egyptian God monster. Next on to the Heart and Soul of the deck, which is 3 card advance. It's literally the heart and soul of the deck. You need this card. It's so integral to your pluses and your just consistency of the deck. And I added some cards maybe to search it out also into the deck as well. So 3 card advance. It's pretty simple. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, arrange them in any order you wish, and then on top of your normal summon, you can conduct a tribute summon that turn as well. That's all it is. But it also works in combination with True Name as well. So the reason I may think about running Plague Spreader Zombie instead of Trick Clown is because I can add that card to the top of my deck and then activate True Name. But I just wanted to inform you guys if you're wondering why the heck I was thinking of running Plague Spreader over Trick Clown. But True Name and Card Advance work together like peanut butter and jelly. True Name as a 3 of got a little bit too cloggy back in the day, and I wouldn't run it more than a 2 of at the moment unless they come up with some new cards for Egyptian God decks that help them out indirectly. But pretty much what you can do is you can use Card Advance, tribute off a month, so say I don't even have an Egyptian God in my hand, alright? Say I have no Egyptian God in my hand at all. I have none. I can go Ra's Disciple, Ra's Disciple, Ra's Disciple, activate Card Advance, okay, I stack the cards wherever I want to. And then I say to myself, okay, activate True Name now. I call the top card of my deck as Scapegoat. Okay, it's Scapegoat. Now I can add an Egyptian God card to my hand and tribute off that Egyptian God card like that. So even if you don't have an Egyptian card in your hand, just having the tribute fodder along with True Name and Card Advance means you're already going to have an Egyptian God monster out in the field that turn. So True Name is amazing. You draw the card that you called, so you stack your deck, activate True Name, call the top card of your deck that you just stacked, draw it, you got a card, and you get to add an Egyptian God card that you can normal add to your hand or special summon it, which is usually Obelisk and Slifer. But yeah, pretty good card True Name is. Next we have 2 Mound the Bound Creator. 3 is too cloggy, and I just went with the consistency aspect by going Terraforming and 2 Mound the Bound Creator. It allows pretty much your Egyptian gods to be like Pocket Port towers, like they can't be targeted, they can't be destroyed, nothing can be done to them. They're just big Egyptian gods that can't be touched. And if they destroy this card, guys, they destroy Mound of the Bound, you can add a divine monster from your deck. So I've added like Raw Sphere mode to my hand because I can tribute off my opponent's monsters, which is nice. Next, I have 2 Gold Sarcophagus. You're probably wondering why the heck I'm running even Gold Sarcophagus. Well, it's back at 3 now, but I prefer 2. And I was playtesting this, and I thought it would be a bad idea, but then as I learned and I played the deck more and more, and I got into the groove of it, I was like, I like this card. So I wanted a way in the deck to search out Card Advance, because Card Advance is so integral to the deck. Now you may say, Seto, why don't you run Left Arm Offering that came out of, I think, like the Pharaoh set earlier this year. That card wasn't working out too well for me. I had a lot of bad experiences with it when I'm running in this deck. Gold Sark is another good way of doing it, because literally what I can do is I can go Gold Sark, banish, my Card Advance, and then 2 turns later I can summon an Egyptian God after I get Card Advance back off, Gold Sark's effect, which is really nice. 3 Gold Sarks got too cloggy. 2 is all you really wanted, because you could search out that one piece that you really needed at that time, and you could stall out with your cards until you got all your pieces together to summon the Egyptian God monster that you wanted to summon, or summon a second Egyptian God monster if you had that much advantage over your opponent. So literally, Gold Sark can help you search for your card advance, your mound, an Egyptian god monster, your true name, anything really. Usually I search out card advance though, because this is your key part of your deck, card advance. Sometimes I'll search out true name if I already have a card advance in hand. Sometimes I'll search out Ra's Disciple if I know I need tribute fodder. It just helps you search out your key pieces you need to complete your combos in your deck. Even though you do have to wait 2 turns pretty much, you usually can stall out for 2 to 3 turns in this deck without doing anything through Marsh Macaroon, Aroma Jar, and Solemn Strikes, and half a dozen other things. You can definitely do that. So, 2 Gold Sark. Next we have 2 Pod Duality. You could run 3 Pod Duality, but I decided to take the 3rd one out because it was having some problems, because this deck does special summon pretty often. So I took the 3rd out for the 2nd Gold Sark. Pod Duality just adds consistency to your deck. If you already have an established board, or you're not going to be doing anything that turn, just setting a Marshmallow Macaroon and just using defensive plays, you can use Pod Duality, thin through your deck, find things you want to. Next up we have 2 Twin Twister. Clear that back row before you summon a freaking Egyptian god. That's all I gotta say. And it helps you get dead cards out of your hand too, which is really nice. And get them in the graveyard where you want them. More consistency, Upstart Goblin, Foolish Burial. You can Foolish Burial your Trick Clown, or your Ross Phoenix mode, or Marsh Macaroon if you wanted to. So, very good cards there. And then your last 2 one-ofs, you run 1 Regeki and 1 Rank Up Magic, the 7th one. I just love writing this card, and it's so fun to go into some of the Chaos form monsters. So I can go into number C101 and number C104. Those are your 2 monsters you can go for. You can pretty much go for any of the C, monsters you want to, and you have ways of discarding this through Twin Twister and the Monarch, the 1st Monarch. So pretty good. Regeki, just clear the board. Pretty simple there. Next we have your traps. You have your 1 of, which is the 1st Monarch. I cut this down from 2 of for the longest time down to 1 of. And found a secret rare in the process, because I didn't know this was a secret rare. I forgot. But the 1st Monarch is pretty nice, because what you can do is, it's a trap monster. So it's still a trap card though, even after it's a monster. But you set it, you activate it. It's a 2,400 defense with 1,000 attack monster, and you can discard a card from your hand to make it a divine monster. So this will become a divine monster, which means you can use this as true. It counts as 2 tributes for your Egyptian gods. So say I have a Marsh Macaroon or a token, and I have this. That's 3 tributes right there for an Egyptian god monster to come out and say hello. That's literally what that is. It's an extra. It counts as 2 tributes, and you get dead cards out of your hand, which is really nice, and set them up in the graveyard. So 1 of the 1st Monarch. If you guys didn't know what that card is, the 1st Monarch. Came out of the structure deck too if you're looking for it as a common. Next we run 2 Solemn Strikes and 1 Warning. It gives you protection and stops your opponent from trying to make castels and just castelling away your Egyptian god cards, which is annoying. So 2 strikes and a warning. That's all you need. On to your extra deck, guys. You run your Chaos Monsters. So you run 1 C101 Silent Dark Honor. Number C101 Silent Honor Dark, and then 1 number 101 Silent Honor Arc. Tongue-tied. Then you also run 1 number C104 Umbral Horror Masquerade, and number 104 Masquerade. And then we also run the 1 Formula Synchron, like I showed you earlier, which you can do with that, and then you run your Scapegoat tokens, your Scapegoat tokens. Yeah, I got Raviel in here as a token, which is kind of cool. This came out, I had this for years, and I was like, oh, I found it. Now I get to tribute off Raviel for Egyptian God Monster. It's kind of cool. But yeah, guys, that is the deck profile. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. It's a fun deck. That's all it is. It's a fun deck, guys. And I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Like I said, take it. I love taking constructive criticism on this deck because it always makes the deck better. But this is the best build I've come up with thus far, and I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And till next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and remember to sacrifice your virgins before you play this deck. That way the Egyptian gods will come to your hand and you can summon them very quickly. Till next time, I'm Seto Kaiba, and I'll see you guys next time. Good luck dueling to all of you.